Dieted down, took you through all of my peak week day by day leading up to the natural bodybuilding competition, which we're going to take a look at now. I'm going to show you what happened, how I placed, go over the footage, what can I do better, and let's see what happened.
Class C, competitor number 114.
All right, let's turn that off. So you come out, the first thing you do is the comparison. So you got the front relaxed and then the quarter turn, so right turn. Now here, I don't know why I was doing my arm like this. So like, you see how his arm is? Ideally, you want to be more like this, so it pushes your chest up even more. I don't know, I just wasn't thinking. So here we got I thought the back looked pretty good. I wasn't too happy with this lighting. I'll show you again in a second when I turn around why, but as you're looking at it, I mean, it's hard to light a stage for a lot of people, but it's pretty flat. So there were overhead lights there at the venue, but then you got these lights here that are blasting, making hot spots on you. So on the video especially, you know, it doesn't look that great. And then there were also two big lights on each side, so that is bringing light in from both sides. And what makes your muscles stand out are shadows. So again, as you turn here, it looks like I barely have any abs here. It's kind of like, what in the world? Now you can see a little bit of the cut in my quads here, but it almost just looks like, oh, you just barely have an outline of abs there. You're not really that cut. And this is why, like, even when you're watching Mr. Olympia, I remember watching it and it was like, I know they look better in person. It's not that they look bad, but when you see their own pictures and videos on Instagram a few hours before they go on stage at the Olympia, it's kind of like, something's off here. And I wanted to show you here just so you realize with lighting how things look. This is kind of similar here in the garage. This was a few days before, but this is flat lighting. So coming in straight from my garage, looking head on, and as you can see, there's a little bit of shadow underneath my abs because the light is coming a little from above, but everything's pretty flat and your muscles don't stand out much as compared to when we turn. This is the exact same, and look, now we've got the light coming from the side, so there's a lot of shadows. As the light comes in here, you get shadows underneath, you get shadows from the side. It makes the obliques stand out a lot more. Like here, it hardly looks like there's any obliques, right? Versus here, they're really standing out. And depending on how you turn, you see how they really stand out. So lighting plays a huge role. That's why a lot of times you might see your favorite influencers and they're, you know, got good lighting for posing and all this stuff for videos or pictures, and then you see them in real life or at an event, they're doing bodybuilding, you're like, they don't look as cut as I thought. Lighting plays a huge role in how you will actually look. So keep that in mind, you know, when you see people on stage. Like right here, I'm doing that same pose, the abs the same way right there. You almost can't see the obliques versus here. The obliques are really standing out. So when you have the exact same amount of light coming from the ground, coming from the sides, coming from the top, there's not really much room for shadow there. So front double bicep, this is the open class C. I only competed in the men's open class because I'm not doing all the novice, true novice stuff, any of that. So we got the side chest here. I thought that looked pretty good, but it was just me and him in this category. There weren't a whole lot of people in the natural division. There's an A, B, and C. So this is based on your height and weight. I was pretty happy with that shot too. But your height and weight, and for me, I'm 5'10", so I think it was 207 is the max I could be, and I weighed in at like 174 or something like that. So yeah, again, like they're not too happy with the way the abs look because there's no contrast anywhere, but also, when you're there in person, it looks a lot different from on video too, so you can see better than what the camera can capture, so that's something to keep in mind. But you go out initially, this is prejudging, so we went out, did prejudging, and they compare you there. They probably already picked someone at that point. And then it went through everybody else, and normally you would come back later in the day or the next day to do finals, but here they just cycled through everything and then went right back over and went through it again. So when they started back over, they went right into individual routines here. So this is a couple hours later, and I came out here, and when you do this, you can have put on there to start your music as you're walking out or when you get into place. So I put when I get into place. I got out there and I was just doing a little bit of this old Frank Zane pose that I like. And I was waiting, and I was kind of like, are they gonna play the song? The girl said, "This is not your song." I was like, "Nope." She said, "Just go with it." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And then right as I turned here, then they started playing the song. So as we look at this here, I guess the guy had two separate cameras set up for my posing routine here. So we see just the quality here versus here looks a lot better. So then you imagine someone's eyes being there, it's gonna look even better. But yeah, thigh and abs pose going into a front double bicep. I was using the one of the songs from Guardians of the Galaxy. So one of the things they pointed out was to squeeze your glutes. I wasn't squeezing them a whole lot, my bad. But even then, I don't know. It's getting a little out of hand with the way guys are showing their glutes in classic physique. So back double bicep, back lat spread. I like that one, thought it turned out pretty good. This is always one of my favorites, the side tricep. And yeah, I mean, just, this is 1080p, this is 4K, but I don't know what kind of camera the guy was using. If I was using this camera with a good lens, it would probably look a lot better than both of these. But, you know, they don't let you take your own stuff there, and you can only get what they have. But yeah, that's just going through the posing routine here, and gotta get this Arnold shot at the end there. And that was it. So after this, you go off stage, and then they have announcing the winners there. They didn't do any more comparisons because they already compared us in the morning. So they called him out as second place, and then called me out for first place. So if you have sound.
Gentlemen, may I have a front double bicep?
And see, just like here, like I'm flexing my quads, but you can't really tell very much. That's what kind of stinks, and especially him, you see he's standing right here in front of this bright light. He's really washed out, so I don't know. Part of that is, you know, camera settings and it not being done quite right, because you want to make sure things aren't overexposed, because then you can't see them. So then we move on to the overall. So the winner of each division comes out for the overall comparison. So this guy was class A, this guy was class B, and I was class C. And you see he's got a massive chest, and he has some pretty big legs too. So we come out and they take us through all the same stuff. So I think we do quarter turns first. And see, like, same thing here. It looks like you can't, like, this guy was just as lean as me, and you almost can't see very much. His legs look a little bit leaner, even though the rest of them doesn't. But it's just the lighting, it's really flat, so you don't see much separation of muscles because of the lack of shadows. And especially now here, like you see me here, how that's all washed out compared to our comparisons here. I was a little bit closer to the middle, so there's still a hot spot here, but you can see a lot more detail, whereas he's washed out, and now that I'm in that spot where he is, now I look washed out. So depending on where you are on the stage, ideally the middle, you're probably gonna look the best because you're gonna have somewhat, with these lights not shining directly on you, not as bright of those hot spots, but you know, it's just little complaints. So same thing here. You see how he's got his arm down, and it makes the chest stand out a whole lot more. So I should have turned my arm down more, not had it quite up like that. You know, whatever. Learn for the future. But yeah, that dude had huge legs there in the middle and a really large chest. It's like a Hussein Farhat type of chest. Yep. So they take us through all that, then they start front double bicep, we got the side chest. And let me know down in the comments as you're watching, who do you think should win the overall? Guy's got his legs really wide there. He's probably the softest out of everyone, I would think, based on what we're seeing here. He's A category, B, C, so you can see it's based on height. So A categories from whatever height range, 5'4" to 5'6" or something, then like 5'6" to 5'9", 5'10" to 6 something. They do your favorite classic pose. But here, like this guy, I could see his abs, but here, same thing, like you can't see very well anyone's abs. So then they said, all right, do a pose down, and then here it's like I'm right in front of this light, so you can't really see muscles very well, right? So that's a little frustrating when you get the footage back, and it's like, oh, I can't really see any of my definition because I'm right in front of a light. And I guess if I was more aware and paid attention to it, I could try to not get in front of it like that, but then, you know, what are you gonna do? But you can see here, based on where I am, the way the rest of the lights are, you can see more definition in my obliques here and the stomach versus what you could see before, and almost in the quads a little more too. But overall, it's like really super bright because of these lights right here. Like him, the back is washed out right here. Since he's in the middle, then it's not really an issue. I mean, it's only my second competition, but the first time I got to the finals, so where you do a pose down. So I didn't really think about it ahead of time. I forgot about how they do the pose down. So I'm like, okay, what should I do? I'm just thinking, okay, what's another pose? I'm going through my routine in my head and just hitting different poses. And then also paying attention to what they're doing. And you know, sometimes you want to hit the same poses as them to compare. But even so, it doesn't really matter because the judges have already made their decision. This is more so just for you to do this. So I should have done that side chest pose while he was doing his here. But you see that guy's got a big chest, so he's the one that won. Definitely pretty obvious that he's the biggest there. So then they take everyone to the side. I'll bring the audio back up now. I just had the audio off because I don't want to get what's it called? So these are the lights from the side here. You can see that were shining on us. But like here, when we're over at the side and we've got some lighting, side lighting, look at the difference. Look at his leg. You can see the cut way better in his leg. A little bit in mine, it's still pretty washed out. Since he's black, it's not as bright. And he's further from the light.
Men's Classic Physique Open Overall winner goes to...
Like my face is white.
Number 109,
So he won first. They didn't say who was second place. As you can see, she just told us to get lost. So I don't really know who got second overall. You can let me know what you think down in the comments. I think I was leaner than the other dude who was there. But yeah, so that is all of the footage from the competition here. I got some feedback from the judges. She told me that posing was good. He didn't really have anything for me there. My only critique really, from what I've seen, is that side pose for the quarter turns, not going like this, but having my arm more down and pushing the chest up more. They told me that I need to work on my delts to cap them more. So you can see here, I guess, you know, you want even bigger delts. So just since then, with that in mind, I've been doing in my workouts a lot of overhead pressing and then just doing heavier and heavier side laterals. Like I did a couple sets of dumbbell lateral raises with 40s for 10 yesterday or so. The other thing he told me was to make sure you're squeezing your glutes because you weren't squeezing them. I was like, oh yeah, my bad. My own opinion on that is like, yeah, I get it. You want to show your glutes, but at the same time, it's like the shorts used to be square back in like 2018 in the Olympia. Chris Bumstead, his shorts were like squared down to here. And I'm like, the whole point is it's supposed to be a different category. Now the dudes look like men's open just about, except they have height caps. But overall from this back shot, I think my shoulders look pretty good because it's like they're slightly larger than my biceps and triceps, still pretty big. But you know, that's what they like. The big capped delts is, I guess, you know, the look they want for bodybuilding. And then again, squeezing the glutes. I wasn't really doing it here, just squeezing the hamstrings. So yeah, I guess that's what I need to do. So I've got another video coming soon on the show the next day, the normal NPC show. This was the natural one. The next day is when I was facing the giants, we could say. These guys were huge. The guy that won overall was in the D class, so there was A, B, C, and D because I think it's over 6'1" or 6 feet. Then it moves up to D if they have people that tall. And he was like 230 and leaner than me. I'm like, dude, this is crazy actually seeing someone this big. So stay tuned for that. Let me know if you have any questions, if you're gonna compete or anything like that. Post them down in the comments, and I'll see you soon.